Graham Potter, it's time to go. It is time for Graham Potter to leave the club. You should not wait one more day. He needs to leave the club tomorrow. Any longer we go on with Graham Potter as manager is a wasted time. The players do not respect Graham Potter. They do not fight for the badge. They do not fight for the manager. Graham Potter has brought no tactics, no footballing ideology, no vision. There is nothing positive that has happened to Chelsea since we've appointed Graham Potter. Now, I will say there are other problems within the club that I'm going to get into. But I have noticed one thing about Graham Potter, and that there is no future with Graham Potter. I think you could fix every other problem about Chelsea. And if you still have Graham Potter as manager, there's still a big problem. I do not think you can win any trophy in club football with Graham Potter. I don't think you're winning the FA Cup. I don't think you're winning the League Cup. You're not winning the Community Shield even. You're definitely not winning the Premier League. And you are so far away from winning the UEFA Champions League, it's not even funny. And if you are going to be the manager of Chelsea Football Club, you are expected to deliver these trophies. And I think you cut your losses with Graham Potter right now, because there is no point in having a manager that cannot deliver you the trophies in the long run. Obviously, you are not going to win anything this season. We'll be lucky to make the Conference League right now, the way we've been playing right now. But there is no point in keeping Graham Potter for the long term and buying into his footballing vision or whatever he says he has, because right now I don't see a vision, when I think even if we get the proper signings, we fix up the board and the management with that, which I'm going to get into, I don't think Graham Potter is the guy to lead this club to trophies. And that's what is expected at Chelsea Football Club. This is a club that wins trophies. We win the Premier League. We win FA Cups. We win trophies not only continentally, but in Europe. And Graham Potter is not the guy to do that. The players do not believe in him.
Wait, I want to interject just a little bit so we don't get too much. I have to play devil's advocate to support a little bit of Graham Potter, because this is a little bit of a switch of your tune. What we were both even saying last episode, that we think Graham Potter maybe needs a little time. But what can really Graham Potter do with the personnel he has? I think it's more of a personnel issue and a bit of a Todd Bowley issue, because the root of this, I mean, who wanted Potter in the first place? Todd Bowley. This is the owner that's making. He gave himself the most important job other than a player in the club, and that's
exactly what I'm going to talk about.
Executive football. Executive football. Before letting you get into that, is just I think the personnel that Chelsea have right now are just not good enough.
I agree with that.
I think, like you've texted me this, Sir Alex Ferguson could be here. You could have Sir Alex and then Pep Guardiola as his assistant. You're not going to get anything from this lineup. You're still playing Azpilicueta at right back, and Willian, who literally went to Brazil to retire and came back, is slapping you up.
No, I agree.
It's unacceptable.
You're right.
It's unacceptable.
You're right.
So I don't think it's as much of a Todd Bowley issue, but I'll let you continue. I respect it. Someone has to get the blame. Someone has to get blamed for this. And you can't, unfortunately, as much as every Chelsea fan would like to, you can't just cut every player. You can't just cut them all.
Yeah.
As much as it's almost do like, you just reset the game. You sell all these guys. They're all trash, pathetic, but I'll let you continue.
I just don't know how many pathetic performances we have to see before we realize Graham Potter is out of his depth at a club like this. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. And he's coming from, and the reason he got this job in the first place is because he overachieved at Brighton. He got Brighton into the top half of the table, pushing for top 6, but they didn't even get. That's the reason he got this job. Chelsea is not a job that a non-proven manager can come into. You need guys that have European pedigree, that have won trophies elsewhere, that come to Chelsea with that pedigree. The players believe in him, and they actually buy into the system. I mean, look, Thomas Tuchel, when he came into the job, he was coming fresh off of winning League One, the season prior, and coming off of a Champions League final defeat. So even though he didn't win the Champions League, you have pedigree. He did it at Dortmund. He did it at PSG. He succeeded, and he actually elevated the players. We actually have a lot of the players that Potter now has were there with Tuchel, and they performed better under Tuchel because he elevates players. The tactics that he plays, he played those tactics to elevate the players. You remember Chelsea under Tuchel, they were not good in attack. However, strong midfield and strong defensively, you could not really break down Chelsea. Some called it anti-football, but I called it winning football. With Potter, we're supposed to be getting free-flowing attacking football, change the scenery of what Chelsea is, and we have a shit attack, shit midfield, shit defense. We've went from having
I
two phases good to none.
I don't know what type of like philosophy of football he's trying to pose. I don't really see a possession style base. I don't see a counter attacking style
I
football.
don't see
I don't
what
know.
is the
I don't know
vision.
what I'm watching to be
There's no
quite frank. I
vision.
don't know what I'm watching.
And it's not all on Graham Potter. This squad is not good. And that's what I'm going to get into. Along with Todd Bowley, there's an issue there as well. But like I originally said, I think even if you fix these two issues and you still have Graham Potter as the manager, you give him more world-class players. I don't think he's the guy that can lead them to trophies. I don't think he's a leader of men at this level. He can lead a Brighton side and play good football there and win some games against the top six and ultimately do quite well in the Premier League with Brighton or a club of that stature. But to be the manager of a team that's competing for the Champions League, competing to win the league, I don't think Potter is that guy. And when you're Chelsea, there is no point in having a manager if you don't think he can win these trophies. There's no point, especially when you have guys currently available that can win those trophies. I feel like, and I'm not saying this guy would come to Chelsea, but there's guys like Zinedine Zidane available. I don't think he would come to Chelsea at the moment. I don't blame him, but he's available. If I'm Todd Bowley, give him the blank checkbook, whatever wages you want. Zidane, come to the club. I'd get on my knees. But even on a
Well,
lesser extent, Mauricio
yeah, but
Pochettino, Luis Enrique, there's guys available with pedigree.
yeah, I understand that, but I feel like even if you got a Zidane, I mean, to be fair, Zidane did unthinkable things at Real Madrid. He won the Champions League three times in a row, and then came back and won a La Liga title. But the personnel was perfect. Like Zidane could be put on this team, but I don't think Zidane's going to change Kai Havertz into Johan Cruyff.
But what I'm saying is those problems are going to get fixed eventually. But how are you if
so
you fix
certain?
Those problems,
but how are you?
It's
so
only
certain?
a matter of time.
Let's just say who is someone Chelsea are like highly like. Let's say Nkunku gets into the club next season, like he's supposed to.
He's going to,
he's going to, and he has this revolution under Potter. I mean, Potter hasn't even had a chance to play with the players that are already set to sign with the club.
How many signings does he need?
Well, he needs something because what else have they given? They've given him defenders. They've given him 5 defenders when literally they could assign every defender in the league, every defender in Europe. It's not going to fix what they have. They're going to get scored on by Fulham.
I actually think keeping Graham Potter and giving him another transfer window could be one of the most catastrophic mistakes in Chelsea Football Club history. I really think that could be the case. I think it'd be a catastrophic error of all proportions to give Graham Potter another transfer window because of this reason. Like I said before, I don't think...
Has he been given... He's only been given, what, a January transfer window?
Well, and then, technically speaking.
Technically, so I just don't think it's a fair enough time. I think you give him one actual summer transfer window. Just one. Because I knocked over my mic. But I think you literally just give him one because I think it's way too soon because it's a personnel issue other than the manager. The manager is trying. I think there's only so much a manager can do. But when you're coaching a team that's built for somebody else and you're taking it secondhand, this is not a Potter team. This is not a Graham Potter team yet. So I think you have to give them time. I think it's way too soon, but you can believe what you want to believe.
I just think the reason why it would be such a catastrophic error is because of the reasoning, like I said before. I don't think he can lead us to trophies. He might be, eventually at a certain point, he might be a manager that leads you to a consistent top 4, maybe. Where you're getting 3rd or 4th place consistently. And if that's the level that we want to be at forever under Todd Bowley, then you keep Graham Potter. But I'm expecting to win trophies, compete with the highest echelon of football. And I don't think Graham Potter is going to be able to do that. And it's just unfortunate that he took this job because I don't think Chelsea is a job for a guy like a Graham Potter with no proven European pedigree at this level to take. I think it's a job a Pochettino takes, and a Luis Enrique takes, a Zidane takes. It needs that type of manager. And I mean, if you just look at what Potter has done, and albeit the squad is not good, and whatever, but it's a good enough squad to beat the teams that we're losing to. Can you agree with that? I mean, how many 100 million players do you need to beat Fulham?
You shouldn't need a lot.
You shouldn't need a lot.
You shouldn't need any. You shouldn't need any.
That doesn't mean that they're really good. It doesn't mean anything. But you would expect with the players that Chelsea have that they would be good enough to beat a Nottingham Forest, beat a Fulham. I'm not saying beat Liverpool, even though they're not good this season. Beat Arsenal. Can you at least beat these trash teams? How many big signings? How many big names do you need to beat some of these teams that we're losing to at the moment? I understand the squad is bad, but it's not this bad to be competing for relegation. Since October 18th, no side in the whole Premier League has won fewer games than Chelsea. We're the worst team in the league since October 18th. We're 10th place at the moment. We're 10th points clear of relegation. We're 19 points away from Arsenal. That's a disgrace. 7 losses out of our last 9. And under Graham Potter as a whole, 19 matches played, 8 wins, 4 draws, and 7 losses. It's not good enough. And you can say it's a small sample size, and you can say that there's other problems. But when you look at what Chelsea Football Club is, it's a club that is expecting to be at the highest level, winning Champions Leagues, every now and then. We've won 2 in our history, 2 in the last 20 years. We went 2011, and then now, was it 2021? So in that, what is it? That's a 10-year span. We win one about every 10 years, it looks like. Something like that.
One every 10 years.
I don't think that's going to be done under Graham Potter. So I think, what's the point in keeping them? If I don't feel like you can win a trophy, any trophy with them, there's no point in keeping them. Cut your losses. Let him go manage a new team that he can build under. And we are just wasting time by not going to get a different guy. We're like, someone's going to pick up Pochettino. Somebody's going to get Luis Enrique. It's not going to be us if we wait any longer.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, Luis Enrique is a proven manager. I mean, Pochettino, who knows if he'd be willing to, but he's out there, and obviously Zidane is out there as well.